Hello, everybody. Welcome to Horror Movie Yearbook. We're not going to dilly-dally tonight, Willie.
We've
Tim.
got a lot to talk about. I'm Willie.
We are going to go right into... We're going to talk about the Scream trailer.
I think it's important.
We're going to talk about a little bit of what we've been watching lately.
Yes.
Less important, but still important.
Sure.
And then we may, if we have time, talk about some Friday the 13th stuff.
It's going to be a very Kevin Williamson heavy...
Yeah.
The Kevin Williamson Renaissance.
I was trying to think of this because we have Carpenter's Corner. Kevin's
Crib.
Kevin's Crib with a K. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
This will be the Kevin's Crib episode.
There we go.
First up, I want to mention the Game Nerds. They are talking about their most anticipated games of 2023.
Excellent.
They're also talking about Midnight Suns.
Yes, the Marvel game.
A little bit horror-ish.
Yeah.
They're talking about that. I also want to mention our Patreon, patreon.com/MidwestPodNet, because the Game Nerds dropped a side quest, which is their bonus episode, their version of the Tiny Terror, where they talk about something that may be of interest to our listeners, which is The Last of Us, the TV show.
The show.
Yes. So I did watch it, but I will defer to them as they are experts.
I've heard the first episode is good.
Yeah, very good. As someone who gave up on the game an hour in.
You're very happy to watch somebody else play?
Because I cannot deal with stealth mode in any game.
I'm not a big stealth guy either.
I hate it so much.
That and vehicle sections tend to suck too. In games that aren't made for vehicles.
Okay.
Like games where you have to jump on a jet ski for some reason. For one level.
Oh, isn't there a Resident Evil game where you have to jump on some water?
Yeah.
Which one is that?
5.
Is that 5?
Well, there's a couple. And they're always a pain in the ass because their focus clearly wasn't on designing that part of the game.
Quick question though, what I was trying to say is check out their side quest is up now. They are experts on it. They I know they said they're going to check back in at the end, but they know what they're talking about over there.
Yes.
But question here. I've heard a lot of complaints recently about the island section of Resident Evil 4. They're talking about fixing that for the remake. What are they talking about? What's the island section?
They're talking about the final section of the game where you get to the island and there's guys with chain guns shooting at you and stuff. Where it becomes just full blown ridiculous action. And,
okay. I don't remember that being poor.
No, it's just not as good as the rest of it.
Right.
I think part of it though that people forget is the castle section's too long in that game.
Right.
It's a little too long and you're kind of exhausted by the end of it and you're ready to get
Isn't that a Resident Evil staple, though? There's always, one weird level before the final boss where you're just come on, I got to get through this.
Pretty much every Resident Evil game has that section where you're can we go now, though? This has been fun, but we need to get, Village had it, too.
Village did have it, yes.
I thought the whole factory area was all right, let's go.
Same thing, yeah, I think Biohazard was similar as well. I thought there was something in Biohazard where...
Yeah, the salt mines.
The salt mines, yeah, I'm okay.
I don't...
I know I'm getting to the end. Can we get to the end?
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, check out the Midwest Game Nerds on all of your favorite podcasting services. All right, Willie. I say we have no time to dilly-dally because we have to talk Scream 6.
We do. How do you want to do this? Do you want to break down this trailer? Do you want to just talk about the trailer, just free form it?
I think we should free because I'm not... Okay, if you want a trailer breakdown... I watched a couple of them, so
there's
I know
a lot of them.
There are a lot of them out there.
I think there's three or four important aspects to talk about this trailer.
Okay.
I think I have it broken into kind of 4 kind of key sections of trailer, if that makes sense.
Okay, perfect. So let's do that. I've also got some quotes from the EW article that came out yesterday. I didn't grab the pictures, but the pictures have been floating around. So I'll say this. Anybody who doesn't want Scream spoilers, I give this warning every time we talk about it because I know this is a spoiler-phobic franchise, and I understand.
Yes. I
put timestamps in these episodes, so jump to the next timestamp right now. Also, I think that was the only warning I have. Oh, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, we're going to talk about the trailer, so go watch the trailer.
There are 2 versions of the trailer, by the way.
There are 2 versions of the trailer.
One. Did Gal say fuck in your version?
No. And I went, because in the version I watched, I went, they edited out fuck.
Do not watch the other version because there's straight up a character dead.
In that...
a named character, an actor that has been named in the movie, dead. In a shot in the trailer.
Interesting. Okay.
It's, dead.
Okay.
I'm not going to say who.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was that was the one moment where I went, oh fuck, they spoiled that.
Interesting because,
Now, you would probably not even notice if you were not paying attention to it, really.
Right.
You would just kind of see a body, but it's a certain person, so.
Interesting, because I thought they did a good job last time. A lot of the complaints last time were, they spoiled the whole movie. Like, this person died. They spoiled it in the trailer. And then you watch the movie and none of those people died.
Yeah, the big one for the last movie was there's a shot of Amber on fire in the trailer.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And people were like, why the fuck would you show that? Like, because people discerned that it was her.
Right.
Pretty quickly. So, and then I think there was another shot of Sam when she's stabbing Ritchie at the end, and you could see the sleeve of his arm, and you could tell what character she was stabbing. So people were like, "You just spoiled that." So there's none of that in this.
Do you remember the fun controversy? This is only like a year or two ago about the flamethrower ghost face.
People were freaked out.
They're like, "What is this movie gonna be?" And I thought it was. I mean, you kind of piece it together.
There's some borderline controversial stuff in this one, and this time it's clearly not a fake out.
So where do you want to start? Let's
start with the bodega.
Okay, the bodega scene that kicks off the trailer.
Let's talk about the bodega. We've seen some stills from this scene.
Yes.
There's been a lot of speculation about, like, is that really the Ghostface, or is this like somebody in a Ghostface costume robbing the store that just so happens to be they're in there? No, this is Ghostface. Clearly.
It's Ghostface. Yep.
And is wearing the withered mask that I assume belongs to Billy Loomis, is the insinuation. I think that was Billy Loomis's mask.
I think so, because people have pointed to one of the last shots in the trailer, which is
she's
her
holding
it. Melissa Barrera,
kind of with reverence or something.
Yeah.
And there's also, which we'll talk about later, there's a moment. There's a series of Ghostface costumes in the Ghostface shrine, which we'll get to, and the center one in the glass cabinet is Billy's. It says Billy on the bottom. Like there's a name tag that says Billy. They each have names, and yes, our tribal chief is represented. But yeah, the bodega scene. So I gotta tell you, this fucking ruled.
This is a great. Honestly, you could have just cut up the scene, put it, and made it the trailer.
Yes,
because it's fantastic.
It's phenomenal, and it immediately tells you this is going to be different than the other movies. It is a radio silence movie, very like through and through this time. I certainly feel, and they've mentioned, and I think you might have the quote there about how they felt that they had to kind of prove themselves that they could do Scream with the last movie.
Yeah.
And kind of play by the rules a little bit. And this time they're allowed to kind of go crazy with it, and they clearly are. Like,
yeah,
this is nuts. And I love it. That's not a complaint. I mean, Ghostface, for one, is just right in the open, like in a store, like killing people, like.
Yes.
And then he blows a dude away with a shotgun.
So he takes
he one hands a shotgun.
And so the bodega owner, like Ghostface is in there, bodega owner pulls it out and tries. So this is what I got to ask you, though. And I think you may know where I would go, because I hinted at this question. There are no dumb questions here. But do you think it's possible? Because Ghostface, he goes to take that shotgun, the bodega owner, and Ghostface vanishes. Like, he is gone.
He moves very fast.
Yes. And there are a couple other things I'll point to as we talk about this trailer more. Do you think there's going to be any sort of supernatural element here?
I don't.
Okay.
I think it's something that they might play with and like hint. You know what I mean? Like, they might have some fun trying to. I don't think it will be. I think Ghostface just is moved very quickly out of the way of the. You know what I mean? But it definitely. It looks like he like puffed into smoke for a second.
So this one could be an athlete.
Well, he's clearly spry.
Yes.
Whoever this is like.
He can
like leaping over couches, and like this is not clumsy Ghostface,
right?
You know, this seems like somebody, and that we're going to get to that when I talk about who I think this Ghostface is, because somebody a little more withered who's been through some shit.
And we have had plenty of clumsy Ghostfaces in the past,
because they're all teenagers.
Most of them are quite clumsy. Yes.
The least clumsy one was like Roman.
What about the last movie? One of them was a beast, because they pick Dewey up, like one of them.
Yeah, but they weren't clumsy, I wouldn't say, in the last movie.
Oh, you know what? They are towards the end, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're more so just kind of not smart people. Like they're the dumbest.
Kind of dummies.
They're the dumbest Ghostfaces.
Yeah, I would say they're the dumbest of the Ghostfaces. Okay, so yeah, we get the shotgun blast, and one of the controversial elements you mentioned was Ghostface with the shotgun.
Using a gun. It rules. It's not like he's running around this whole movie with a shotgun. Let's just start there.
And let's be honest. Ghostface, the killers have used guns in the past.
Every
movie.
Ghostface, all of them, all 9 of them, have held guns. It's just all post-reveal. The difference here is we're getting a Ghostface in costume holding a gun.
Right.
I think it rules, and I think most of the fan base is pretty cool with it.
In the way it goes about it too in the trailer is perfect because he's there to kill.
Yes, and I love the girls crawling on broken glass and stuff, trying to be quiet. That all works for me. All that's one thing that Scream 5 was definitely missing was tension.
The broken glass bit is good.
There's not a lot of tension in Scream 5. There's a couple moments that stand out, but like there's not a lot of chase scenes and a lot of suspense scenes in Scream 5.
They have said they're going to up the chase scenes, and I think you can see a couple of them in the trailer.
I think you have to in the New York setting.
Well, the best exactly, and I think the best scene in that fifth movie is the Dewey scene in the hospital.
It's really good.
Yeah, I think that is my favorite scene in that movie.
I like the Chad sequence too.
Oh yeah,
with the Find My Family app or whatever.
Yeah, that's good too. That's clever too.
Anyway, so the bodega scene, I think we're both on the same page. This rules.
It's good stuff.
It immediately, I'm in. Yep. I mean, I was already in, but like I'm really in now.
I'm glad we got to see more of it this trailer because it's also what I want to see from a horror movie in New York, which is them going to places in New York.
Bodega.
Yes. A bodega, the subway.
Absolutely.
Apartment complexes. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we need to talk about kind of Section 2 for me. Let's just briefly talk about the subway. It actually shows up at the end of this trailer as opposed to, but we kind of covered this with the teaser trailer. There's not really anything new here, but I definitely love. I still love the subway scene. I love all the horror movie characters strewn throughout. I think that's fun. I don't think the real Ghostface is on this subway.
So not the one that leans into the shot.
I don't think that's even the real Ghostface.
Okay.
I think this is like a fake out thing. And I think the Mindy thing where she's getting slammed against I don't even think she's with them. I think that's two separate subway.
Okay.
I can see a situation where they're fleeing from Ghostface or whatever, and she gets separated from the group and winds up on a different train car than the rest of the group.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that would be a classic Scream setup.
And that's a fun way to play with the different train cars.
Yes. So
we didn't see any. There weren't any new like fun cameos here, right? I think it's Freddy.
We see
a little
Pinhead this time.
Oh yeah, Pinhead's in a shot.
Yep.
Then is the Freddy cameo a little clearer in this one because it's kind of like it's not full someone in full Freddy. It's someone in a red and black.
Yes.
Actually, they could be dressed up as the janitor from
Scream 1.
Scream 1. Yes.
Yeah, we still see the Ready or Not costume and. There's a Jason in the background and stuff like that. So I like all that stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to mention the subway scene briefly because I think that's still that's a big part of this trailer, even though we've seen most of it.
Right.
The third section, I want to save what I think is the best for last. The third section is just kind of any of like the quick cut, smash cut stuff that is on all these trailers, right?
Towards the end.
There's just a ton of those brief moments. We get a glimpse at Tony Revolori very briefly.
We don't get to see him or Samara Weaving at all.
With anybody else.
And we don't see them until the end of the trailer in quick cuts.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you, do you think that's because they get killed early?
Yeah.
Or do you think they're set up characters for the next movie?
I think it's killed early.
You think they're the first kill?
That's if not the... look, I'll say this. I have read... no specifics about the opening scene, but I've heard from somebody who's seen it, I've heard... it's totally different than any other opening scene in a Scream movie. It's not a traditional what you think of as an opening scene.
Okay.
And not in the same way that Scream 4 is, where it's really out there and wacky.
Okay.
My understanding is the opening kill of this movie is the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Interesting.
That a third of the movie takes place during and immediately following that opening kill.
Okay.
And I think that I do think that Tony Revolori and
Samara
Weaving are both part of that sequence.
Okay.
Whatever that sequence is.
Okay. Interesting.
I think this movie is just going to get going. I really do. I really legitimately think that and this is me just spitballing. I legitimately think that the entire group of characters that's going to be a big part of this movie are going to be part of the opening scene. Everybody. I'm talking about even the leads are going to be part of the opening
part
scene.
of the opening scene, and it's going to kind of jump.
Maybe
back
not
and
like
forth.
a Gale or a Kirby, but like the friend group is going to be all part of the.
Well, it seems like Kirby's going to come in later because
Yes.
it wasn't confirmed by this trailer, but it was there have been pictures. Correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of like promo pictures of her, and she's a cop in this. She's a police.
She's
officer.
a cop or an agent of some sort.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't know. That was in one of the pictures, not in the trailer. So,
Yeah.
But she will be, and then Dermot Mulroney is also
A cop.
a police officer.
And
Yep,
he's
so-
mentioned in interviews that his daughter was a victim of Ghostface.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know if it's a character from the previous movies or if it's somebody who dies in this movie.
So it could be like Samara Weaving, and that could be
Yeah.
how his character comes in
Yeah.
towards the end. Okay, one more thing I wanted to ask you on is it
Revelori.
Revelori. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's wearing a shirt,
Yes.
a Four Flies on Gray Velvet.
Yep.
Shirt, and
Famous
that
Giallo film.
Argento, and that movie is one of his early movies.
Yes.
It's about a rock musician who gets entangled in like a web of murder.
And there's phone calls from the killer,
Right.
I believe, in the film, if I remember right.
Now they go out of their way to put that in the shot.
Right in the shot.
Why do you think? Do you have a theory on why? Do you think one of these characters is a rock musician?
I had to re-Wikipedia the plot of the movie because it's been years.
Right.
And I didn't have time to watch it, today.
I just watched it a month ago,
Yeah.
and I had to research it. Yeah.
I
The plots of giallo movies do not stick with me.
Right. I think there's a few reasons for it. I think that from a plot perspective, I think this character is probably a film student. Maybe goes to school with Mindy at Blackmore University.
Yep.
I think that's the obvious reason. In terms of like deeper meaning, I think that there's similarities certainly to the plot of Four Flies and Grey Velvet and the Scream franchise.
Right.
Specific to that character, I don't know. I think the biggest thing is probably just that just from this trailer, this movie seems like it has a meanness to it.
Yeah.
That even Scream 5 didn't have.
Right.
And there's a meanness to Ready or Not, too.
That's kind of what I was
There's
thinking.
a gleeful meanness.
There's a playfulness
Yes.
to that movie. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if maybe, Giallo tend to be a little bit mean.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if there's a little bit of that influence there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I noticed there were like these promo pictures of all the characters wiping the knife. I don't know if you saw those.
Yes.
They're all wearing black gloves, and I was like, it's very Giallo. It's a classic Giallo image, is the black gloves.
Okay.
So
we'll see if this. Yeah, maybe
there might be some influence there.
Maybe that will be an influence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, just a thought. But we see those characters. We see a couple other characters. Looks like Mindy has a girlfriend in this movie. It seems like there's a girl that she seems to be hanging out with.
The girl
the
that's in
ladder
her
scene.
bed, right? Or in a bed?
No, it's the girl that she says tells to run. Like she looks panicked. She says run.
Is that the bit in the apartment
With the
complex when they're
ladder.
going across?
Which looks sweet.
That looks like a good bit. Yeah.
So we see that character. We do see a girl in a bed. I don't know what she has to do with anything.
Okay.
She's kind of in like lingerie or something. Not lingerie, but like a nightgown.
Like a sleepwear. Yeah.
We see some Dermot stuff. It seems to me like there's a couple different spots in the movie where they visit this shrine. Because there's parts in the trailer in the smash cutting where they're in the shrine, and they look like they're like investigating it, and then there's parts where like Dermot's like bloodied in the shrine.
Okay.
And then there's like the section in the smash cutting stuff where like the sisters are like one of them's holding on the other, but that's in that shrine area,
right?
And that looks like finale to me.
There were a couple shots in this trailer that look like last 20 minutes of this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't
tread
know.
carefully So do you want to talk the shrine now?
I think we have to, because to me that's for me that's the.
Yeah, and I'll circle back to because I took some notes during the trailer. But let's talk about the shrine now.
The shrine.
So we see it. This has been hinted at. We didn't see it in the teaser trailer.
No.
But this has been. I don't want to say it's been hinted at, but it's been talked about. This has been rumored. And we've talked a little bit about it on the show, which is that there is going to be kind of a shrine to past ghost faces. And is that the plural of ghost faces? Ghost
I think so. Ghost faces.
Ghostface Eye. But so we see it in this, and it's kind of beautiful. Like
this.
It looks like
what a set.
So it looks like when you go to like the Henry Ford to an exhibit.
Yes.
It does not look like it's someone like shoddily throwing together
There was some love and care put into
There
this.
was some love and care. So,
which is scarier.
So yeah, exactly. So is this a shrine put together by a group of people? Do you think it's a shrine put together by maybe a museum or like?
Here's the thing: is I've been kind of debating about this. Is like, is this some sort of like public museum where people are going, or is this something that this killer has collected over time? I don't know. It's less believable that one single or even a couple human beings, depending on how many ghost faces we have in this, that they could really be able to get their hands on all this stuff. But then you have to suspend your disbelief to a certain extent and just like revel in how cool it is.
Right.
Which it is.
Sometimes with movies too, you have to just let yourself go. And so like, okay, well, sometimes you just want to see it's cool. Like it's pretty cool.
It is sweet. So I'm more inclined to think this is like the Ghostface Batcave this time around that they've stumbled upon. I think it's Ghostface's lair.
So you think it's the Ghostface in this movie, either the main killer or both killers? Probably the main killer. Like
Group of killers.
He's the Bruce Wayne.
This seems like one killer this time, doesn't it? Just based on
no.
You don't think so?
There's a shot in this trailer
of
both sisters looking in both directions that makes me think that there's more than one killer and maybe multiple.
Maybe like the head ghost face is wearing that aged. And then the ghost face who grabs Mindy is not wearing the aged one, so maybe that's a different ghost face.
So there's one ghost face. So if we're doing the Batman thing, he's like the Batman, the Bruce Wayne, and then he's got his Bat family. He's got like Robin and Oracle.
I'm down. I don't want 6 of these people. Right. But like a 3 would be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And now there are some fun Easter eggs.
There's a lot
in this.
We only saw technically we've seen like 3 shots of the shrine.
So it has, and we should mention, it has all of the different killers. I don't know if you may have mentioned that.
All 9 Ghostface.
All 9 Ghostface costumes.
And I can say that you can see Billy's name clearly in the glass one, the glass case. You can see Charlie's name, who is Culkin, in 4.
Okay.
His name on 1, and you can see Amber's name on 1. And then there's a one next to that has a zipper that pulls down, and that was Roman's, because remember Roman had the vest,
right? So
he could tear away his. So you see Roman's as well, but there's 9 of them, so everybody's going to be represented.
So some of the other things I wrote down.
Yes.
There's the theater mask from part 2. You can see it,
and it is attached to the sun sculpture that Jerry O'Connell is crucified on.
That was it. Yep. Yeah. It's on there. Yep. So we do get shout out to 2. We have a stage prop. Yeah, a Jill's clothing from Scream 4. Mm-hmm. We have a clipboard, like a clapboard.
From Stab, I think.
From Stab 3,
which is the one they were shooting in Scream 3, right?
Yes. Yep. We have Stu's robe,
party robe.
His the party robe. That is awesome.
Robe. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Did you see what's right next to it?
Is that his shirt, Billy's shirt?
Yes, but what's right next to that?
No,
the TV that he gets.
The
killed
TV.
with.
Yeah, I had that on here. Yep.
Speaking of Scream 3, did you see that the fax machine?
Is it in there?
The fax machine that explodes.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's like half exploded.
The fax machine scene in that movie is my favorite part of that movie.
It's hilarious.
It's really good. Yeah. It's really good.
So anyway, this fax machine is there.
Perfect. I didn't catch that. Yeah. I caught the TV, and then the only other thing I caught was Tatum's outfit.
Yes,
is there as well.
It's a loud outfit. It's easy to.
It's weird. There are some iconic outfits in these.
There really are.
Because even like when I saw Jill's outfit.
You're like,
shirt.
That's Jill.
I'm like, that's Jill's shirt.
Yep.
I remember it. Yeah, it sticks in your head. So good job to the wardrobe people.
Yeah, amazing.
Scream 3.
Okay, so speaking of wardrobe, Mrs. Loomis's suit is there.
Yep.
Mickey's T-shirt that he's wearing when he gets killed in the end of Scream 2 is there. It's next to one of the other ones.
I missed that.
It's just a dark T-shirt, so it's nothing. But I think we can all assume that if he's got all the killer's wardrobes, it's probably Mickey's T-shirt, I guess.
Right.
Kenny, the cameraman's baseball hat that he always wore backwards in Scream 1.
Fantastic.
Is in there.
See, these are good Easter eggs. Yeah.
Casey Becker's boyfriend, Steve, the first victim in Scream 1, his Letterman's jacket, and it's on a mannequin that's actually taped to a chair just like he was.
Nice.
The noose that Casey Becker was hung from is in the background. The there are copies of the Woodsboro books by Gail Weathers in there. There's a
there's a Woodsboro police officer outfit, like a sheriff's outfit. Yeah.
One of them. I assume it can only be
Dewey's.
Dewey or maybe Anthony Anderson.
Yeah.
Fuck
yep.
Bruce Willis. So that's there. The girl who gets like horribly gutted in Scream 4, her shirt is in there.
Okay.
The one who gets like
sliced open in the middle.
Yeah. That one's there. There's like hand drawings of Kirby, like pencil drawings of Kirby, which is weird.
That was interesting, right?
I was thinking maybe those are like Charlie's sketches because he was obsessed with her. Remember, he seemed like he was in love with her?
That would have to be...
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking, because those aren't shown in the movie, right?
I'm thinking that it's something that Kirby's going to see and it's going to freak her out.
Like a trigger for her. Okay.
Because think about it, everybody in that room pretty much is going to be triggered by some aspect of the room.
Right.
Yeah. I was hoping that there'd be some sort of funny scene where, like, when they see all the robes, that, like, Kirby's like, yeah, that one stabbed me, and then Gal's like, that one shot me.
Well, there is a great line in the trailer where Gail says, like, aren't you like the 10th person who's tried to do this? Yeah.
I'm so tired of this shit. God, I feel like there's a couple others that I am not mentioning that I wanted to mention, but there's a lot of good stuff in this.
It's great.
There is a theater seat, like a seat from a movie theater.
Is that from 2?
Yes, I can assume that's the one that Jada Pinkett was sitting in.
That's great.
It's pretty sweet. Look, who knows how I'm going to feel about the finished product, but I'll say this. And I'm going to offend some fans here. I'm sorry. This is everything I wanted from the next Scream movie. I wanted it to feel different. I wanted it to have a new setting. I'm fucking tired of Woodsboro after 4 and 5. I'm over it. I wanted it to have a different tone and vibe. It definitely does to me. I wanted it to be Sydney light or Sydney less. I'm sorry, guys. That's where I'm going to hurt people. I just think we need to take a break. I'm with you. I'm fine going back to Sydney at some point.
Absolutely. But I need a break. And I'm fine with Gail.
I would like to develop these new characters even more.
Me too.
So sorry, I'm a fan of Sydney as well. This is disregarding the Neve Campbell stuff. I believe she should get paid what she deserves. But,
it has nothing to do with that. Yeah.
From a plot perspective, I think it's good.
Sydney overpowers everything. Her character overpowers. It's very much like Jamie Lee. It's nothing to do. It's very much
Sigourney Weaver in Aliens.
Like if she's in the movie has to be about her.
Absolutely.
And
it should be.
Or it feels like a distraction if it's not.
Yes. And it should be. But I do need. I like the new characters enough to watch them have their movie. I
also think, and this is just judging by the trailer and just some of the buzz around it too, this is going to make more money. I think this is going to do well. I think the Jenna Ortega stuff, I think she's blown up.
Scream 5 came out like during a wave of pandemic.
Yes, and I think that cut into its box office a little. It still did very well.
Yeah, it did really well. But.
I think the trailers have been good. I think it's coming out at a better. When did last Scream came out in January, didn't it? Which is usually unless you're Megan or.
Megan's a hit.
Megan is it's a phenomenon. I have not seen it yet.
It's amazing.
I'll check it out. March is a better time because you're leading into the summer. So
people are starting to think spring, summer. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this will do very well. Is my prediction, and I think the trailers have.
They've done it. They've done it justice so far. The last thing I want to mention too that I wanted from the next Scream movie was just like a reverence to the past, and not in the way that Scream 5 was, where it felt like it was paying tribute to what came before. I don't mean that. I wanted What's weird about the Scream movies is they don't acknowledge the events of previous Scream movies very much. It's kind of strange. Like they like say like I've been through this shit before, but like they don't ever make references to like past killers or like.
It is one of the more continuity heavy horror franchises, but
it also kind of
almost by default.
It kind of moves on. This one is like we're all in.
Oh, I think it is because we haven't had that reset like we have in some of the other franchises. Like a lot of other franchises just do like a hard reset.
Yeah.
This hasn't done that. This is acknowledged.
This feels like the Fast and the Furious 5, like Fast 5 of because we're bringing Kirby back. We got characters coming back.
Kirby would be the Han.
Yes.
In this scenario, yeah.
Yep. And we're pulling.
And Dermot Mulroney is the Hobbs.
Absolutely.
He's the Dwayne Johnson. He's the Rock.
We're pulling from all the old films. So yeah. Yep. We just need Dwayne the cameraman from 2 to come back. Okay. Well, no, Joel. I think Dwayne Martin plays.
Dwayne Martin is his name. Yeah. A couple questions I want to ask you about the trailer.
Yes.
Do you think Gail's going to get it?
No.
Okay. You don't?
I don't think they're going to do it. I think that's.
It's Yeah.
I think
it's set up in the trailer, but I'm kind of with you.
I'm not. No, I think we just did the Dewey thing. Sydney's Nev Campbell's not in this. I think Killing Gale just feel weird and icky at this point to me personally. If they do it, it's fine.
Someone close to Gale's getting it though.
Yeah, whoever that is. Shouldn't have been. Hey,
you don't date. I'm sorry.
You do not date Gale Weathers.
You do not date unless you're going to move. Unless like she's got a good book deal and you're going to move to some secluded island,
right,
away from everybody.
Big dummy. But no, I do not think so. I will say that we now have we have 4 returning characters from 5, the twins and then the sisters.
Yep.
So 4. We've got Kirby back and we've got Gale back. So there are 6 essentially legacy characters or returning characters.
Yeah.
Okay. You at the bare minimum, one of them is going to be gone. If not, I'm saying probably 2. They're not going to let 5 or 6 of these people walk out of this movie. I think Gale's safe. I think Sam's safe because I think she is legitimately our final girl. I think I have a hard time buying them killing Kirby. There was such an excitement and such a fan demand for a decade to bring Kirby back.
It would be super mean.
Bring her back and then just kill her right away.
Unless they really hate Scream 4, which is a possibility because they killed what's her name off pretty quickly.
I think they just ignore it though if they really. Yeah. Well, maybe I don't know. If they killed her and her son back to back. So I think Kirby's probably safe.
Yeah.
And Dewey.
Yeah.
But I think that either of the twins could go, and I think I hate to say it, but I think Jenna Ortega could be on the chopping block too.
That would be the big shock. And this one, but she makes it, judging by the trailer, she makes it pretty far into the movie.
She certainly seems third act.
Now, where are you at percentage-wise on the, I can't remember her character's name. Melissa Barrera is the actress, right?
Sam?
Yeah, Sam, thank you.
Yeah.
Where are you at on the theory that she is actually the killer?
Nah, I don't.
I think this puts a nail in it. I think it could continue to hint because there is the shot of her holding the bloody mask with bloody hands towards the end of the trailer.
I think her entire character arc through however many movies they do, and I'm just going to say assume 3 with this new creative team. Mm-hmm. Her character arc is going to be coming to terms with her dark side completely. And you know what I'm saying? Like because Scream has always been, and it sounds corny, but it's always been about people overcoming trauma.
Right.
Especially the Sydney character.
Yeah, especially as you get further and further. Well, actually, even in the first movie, it is.
It is. Yes. And because she's overcoming the trauma of what happened to her mom, really, that entire movie.
Right.
And becoming
and having to live there for her. Yes,
absolutely. And I feel like if you just had Sam turn into her father and grandmother, that's like the antithesis of what the Scream franchise has always been about, in my opinion. I don't like that. But who knows? Could happen. I think it's more likely that Jenna Ortega is involved in the killings than Sam. Yeah, that Tara.
Tara, yeah.
Is more involved than Sam. But I don't want either one of them to be involved.
No, I'm okay with that. Okay.
I don't need a returning character to be the killer. I know that a lot of people want that because it would be different. I don't need that.
So one more question that kind of ties into the killer thing. Do you think we're going to get a killer that lives past this movie? Because it's another theory I've seen banded around. Past this movie and then...
I don't.
Okay.
I think it's going to be closed off. I do. I've always liked that idea too. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to do a to be continued situation.
The last thing I want to flip by you here.
Yes.
Because I'm not giving up on the supernatural element, and you know this.
I know.
Because I'm going somewhere.
You know what they call you people on the internet now? Stuthers. Truthers, but Stuthers.
That is absolutely StuAnon. Yes. That is me. Blackmore University. I texted you about this earlier.
Let's hear about it. Tell me.
This is not an actual university, right? Okay.
Not.
I forgot to Google that.
It is fictional.
Because I Googled Blackmore, because I'm like, Blackmore. Ritchie Blackmore.
Yes.
The guitarist.
Who's Ritchie Blackmore?
I know guitarist from Deep Purple.
Yes.
Smoke on the Water. If you have ever gone to a high school football game, you've heard Smoke on the Water at least 10 times, because I think that's the first popular song they teach band members to play is Smoke on the Water.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Dun, dun, dun. But
it is.
Ritchie Blackmore was a guitarist, and he was also super into the occult. Like that was a thing he was known for. Is he was very much into the occult. So my theory is we're not dealing with true crime fanatics here. We're dealing with cult members. The cult of Stu. We're finally going back to this idea that Kevin Williamson floated out there, which is that there's a cult, and what they have done here, very much like the cult of Thorn, they are going to resurrect Stu in some way, using like Blackmore University is built on some sort of portal to the other to the nether realm.
Stu.
And they will somehow summon Stu, and they need to be there because that is where the veil is the thinnest, is Blackmore University. And that is what the shirt is referring to that is in this trailer. Because he's wearing that shirt. It's named that for a reason. You don't just name something. You don't make up a name without having some.
No, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that's certainly a way to go.
I always wanted to see, when I was a kid, my hope for Scream 3 was that they just said, screw it, we're going to make him into zombie Jason, but Ghostface. Like, he was just going to be Ghostface from then on.
Like, that was it, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, look, I don't think they're going to summon Stu from the Hellgate, but I do think that you might, instead of somebody maybe being obsessed with the true crime element, maybe this person or these people are wacko enough to think that they can somehow, like, channel or resurrect these killers in some way. They think the mask has power or something.
That's probably more likely as
that
we get
could
some
be the
kind
case.
of nut jobs that are... Yeah.
I do think you could do some interest... I don't know. There's definitely something... Now, I mean, like, look, in all the... Of course, I feel like in most of the Scream movie trailers, they definitely try to say, like, this one's different or this one. But this one does feel... When this Ghostface says to Gale that I'm something different,
thank you for bringing that up. That was tying into my other that was another aspect of my wild theory is he keeps saying, and even the like Paramount official like Instagram account or something made sure to put that line in there, like I am something you've never dealt with before. This is a Ghostface you've never dealt with somebody like
Kirby
me
says
before.
it too in the trailer. She says this Ghostface is different. There's something.
Yeah. So why is that? Is the question?
Because he's a shoddy, but
what's that?
He uses a shoddy.
Okay.
Obviously.
Fair enough.
But even Roger L. Jackson's voice sounds a little different in this.
Yeah.
But he always does a slight difference in his ghost faces. It's very hard to notice, but he does because he's. I love old Roger.
Yeah.
Hope I get a chance to meet Roger one day.
How's the cameo?
I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
But
I didn't know if you had reached out to him.
I got to make that happen. But
one more thing I wanted to, it was a shot from the trailer, and it's like I think we've covered everything now, so we did our own breakdown here.
Yeah, we did.
But it was the mural of what's your favorite scary movie, and the painting
like
of the ghost.
Banksy?
You know, it was Banksy. It also reminded me of Magneto was right, like the X-Men graffiti. So there you go. There's that Entertainment Weekly article. There wasn't a ton in there. Some different set photos.
Sure.
I had some quotes, but honestly, you kind of covered what I wanted to talk about with that, so I think we can skim that. If you want to read it, there are some good quotes. Yeah, Entertainment Weekly. They get all the scoops now on certain movies.
They do, man.
On the bigger horror stuff. So, but there were some fun. There were some nice quotes from Hayden Panettiere, who basically said like she felt kind of left out last time around.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to see her back, and I'm glad she's got a little bit more to do. They also released a new poster. I just wanted to touch on that because we liked the other two posters. I did not like this poster as much.
No, it's a poster.
This is a poster you put in the theater.
Yeah, it's in a little marquee in the theater.
Yep, and this is the poster. Like
it's a floating head poster.
It's a floating head poster, and I get that there is a I get there's a reason you do that because you go there, someone goes there, and they go, oh, isn't that Wednesday?
Yeah,
and they go, oh, maybe I'll check out the new
it's Dermot Mulroney.
Dermot Mulroney's in this one. Courtney Cox. Yeah.
I hope Dermot's the killer. I'm gonna keep throwing that up there.
Okay, that was the last thing I wanted. Do you have who's your favorite in the clubhouse for killer?
There's only two options here. You either go one killer again and make it very singularly focused, and it's that one person that's doing the killing, or you have to do more than two.
Okay.
For me, that's it. You got to do one or the other.
More than two killers, yeah.
Right. One or three is kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay.
If you do three, I almost want one of the three to get killed off like halfway through the movie. Like they kill the ghost face and pull the mask off, and they're like, oh shit.
They haven't done that yet, have they?
No.
Mm.
That would be interesting.
Kevin Williamson has also said recently, like, this is going to be like this is different. Like, it's Scream, but it's different than what it's been before. He seemed to be pretty glowing in his praise recently.
They're messing with the formula a little bit.
Yep.
I'm going with Dermot. Whether whether or not it's a single killer or it's like a mastermind and a couple of like pupils, I'm gonna go Dermot as the lead Ghostface. He's in good shape enough to be like one-handing a shotgun and leaping over a couch and stuff. I mean, you know, he can handle it. And Dermot can play crazy.
Yeah.
Have you seen My Best Friend's Wedding? Just kidding.
I have seen My Best Friend's Wedding.
He's not that crazy in that.
Cemetery Man himself is in that movie.
That's right.
Yes, he's my favorite part of that movie.
He's wonderful.
My favorite part.
Dillamore.
Yes.
No, yeah, Dermot played really good crazy in Young Guns, the original Young Guns.
I love those Young Guns movies.
Oh yeah, he plays Dirty Steve, and he's really good.
Dirty Steve and the Boys.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with him.
I know a Dirty Steve. We both do.
Yeah. If there's more than one, it'll be Dermot and a couple of other newbies. There's the one guy that seems to be hanging around with. There's a couple guys that seem to be hanging around with them, and I'm like, okay, one of you is involved. Yeah. I don't trust anybody new.
Yeah, that's a good way. I mean, that's what happens as you get older.
Yeah. That's how I feel in life.
Yeah.
What if they go balls to the wall though, and they go really nuts, and they're like, it's like Mindy and Chad and Tara. What if it's like three surviving?
Like 3 of the surviving.
Yes. And they're like,
Once again, I'm not gonna like.
Sam, you ruined our lives.
I'm not gonna shit on that idea just from here, like, because I would wait to see it play out, but I don't like the idea.
No,
because there is a very you do form a connection with these people. Yeah. You don't want to see all of them, especially like maybe one of them you can live with.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
What about you? Who's the killer? It's Tony Revolori. He's wearing that Argento shirt. So,
but they've already done the film student stuff.
Yeah.
You know who the killer is? It's Stu.
You think you're going with Stu?
It's Stu. He's not dead.
Okay.
If it's not Stu.
In all seriousness, no. In all seriousness, I don't think they're going to bring dead Stu back. Like, I don't think it's going to be like this is
they're not going to
reanimated corpse of Stu. But if they found a way to finagle in a writing wise that like Stu's been locked up in solitary.
They have never said he's dead in any of these movies.
No.
Okay.
But no one's ever mentioned him being alive.
Right.
So what if Kirby with her FBI or whatever she is connections is the one who knows that Stu's been alive this whole time? Like,
right.
I don't know.
Okay.
But then if he breaks out, wouldn't she just be like, it's Stu, guys? He got out yesterday.
Well, that's where the Batcave comes in. The Stu Cave.
Stu Cave.
Yeah, the Stu Cave. Like
Stuverse.
He's not actually doing the killing. He's sending his Bat family out.
Oh, okay.
He's sending his Robins, his Nightwings out to go kill.
I legitimately think, and I think it was, I will forever say it was a missed opportunity in 5, in my personal opinion, that you could bring Matthew Lillard back in some sort of, and make Stu an important part of the killer's motive without bringing Stu back alive.
Right.
Like, Stu was a nut job. Stu left video diaries somewhere.
Right.
He mentions in Scream 1 that they want to make a sequel.
I'm going to say this. Stu seems like the kind of guy, I've seen his robe, that would keep quite a few videos around that house.
Yes, he would.
Yes.
But seriously, you could do it like a Matthew Lillard cameo via like
a voice
or video.
You
could do the DH thing.
Yeah.
I know but if it's grainy VHS footage, the de-aging wouldn't be that big of an issue anyway.
They did the de-aging thing in the movie anyway, yeah. So.
I mean, I don't love it, but it looked fine.
I don't love it in general. Like,
it's weird.
There's very few times, like, even the stuff, like the Indiana Jones part, I look good, but like it looks weird. It just looks weird to me. Like, even the stuff that looks good looks unnatural.
Because you know it's not right.
Yep. There is that part of your brain.
But you could do it. You could bring Stu back without jumping the shark.
Right.
So, yeah.
Anything else? We're at 40 minutes on this trailer.
Yeah, we should probably move along.
This is the most in-depth that you'll find anywhere.
This is the best of the best.
Just wait till we get to the movie. I think our Scream 5 episode was like 3 hours long.
6 is going to be longer, I bet.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be so many references to Roman Bridger. We're going to have to talk about him.
And you don't want to get us started on talking about Roman Bridger.
What would be, if you're a Stuther,
Yeah.
What's a Roman Bridger is alive conspiracy theorist called? Just a Bridger? Like, just keep it Bridger?
I'm really blanking on
Bruther?
anything other than Truther or QAnon
Yeah.
right now as far as conspiracy theorists goes. I know there's probably 100 other names for conspiracy.
A RomAnon. I'm a RomAnon.
RomAnon.
I'm a RomAnon and you're a Stuther. Anyway.
The Stuth is out there.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of Kevin Williamson,
Yes.
we watched a new Kevin Williamson movie.
We did.
Co-wrote this movie with Caitlin Crabb was the other writer on this. And I'm bringing her up because the only other credit she has on IMDb, because I checked it out, she's an assistant, and I believe she's an assistant to... No, I don't want to say that for sure. She's an assistant on Scream 5.
Oh, sweet.
She was in a script, but that's it. Like, she has no other credits. And then directed by John Hyams. John Hyams is a director that I really like, and I think you like too, because you're a big Black Summer fan, right?
Yeah, Black Summer's great.
Yeah, Black Summer's great, and he directs a lot of those episodes. Sweet. He also did the newer Universal Soldier movies that I really liked, Regeneration and Day of Reckoning.
Okay, I never saw those, but...
Yeah, he's done a couple Jean-Claude, because he did Dragon Eyes as well. I like John Hyams. He's been mainly, other than Black Summer, he's been mainly kind of a B-level action director.
Sure.
But he has a style, and I think that style is seen...
The Black Summer thing totally makes sense.
In this movie?
Yeah.
Yes, because... So we both saw this, and we'll get into a little bit of spoilers.
It's not shaky cam.
It's the shaky cam.
It's like this hyperkinetic, like...
Those hard close-ups.
Yeah.
And those long takes, too. Long takes into, like, bam, edits.
Yes.
Or long takes into just, like, an explosion of, like, violence.
And his action is super frenetic.
But
like
also clear. He shoots with clarity.
It never feels... Because the camera's not wonky. The camera's not shaking and stuff.
It's not
just the action is moving at a pace where, like, a real pace. Like, it doesn't feel choreographed. It feels like an actual like fight.
Something. Yeah, there's a sense of realism to everything he's done. Yeah, and it's not like that, like the Greengrass ripoffs that kind of came out around the Bourne stuff, where Greengrass always tried to shoot everything up close in those Bourne movies, and then you get a lot of like that became the fad for a while. And for a while, I'm like, yeah, you guys aren't doing you're not doing this well. This is just bad. This is badly shot action.
Right.
So anyway, So what did you think of it? This movie is on Peacock now. I think it ran some festivals last year. I was surprised to see it. I was excited to see it.
Yeah,
pop up there because I'm a big Kevin
came out on Friday the 13th. That's fun.
It's kind of other than Megan. This is one of the first big horror movie releases, I guess, of the year so far. Because January is usually kind of a slow month anyway.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But what did you think of this movie? Sick.
I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. I'm always a little skeptical when I was a little bit skeptical when I was like, oh God, we're doing a pandemic slasher movie. Like, all right. And then I saw Kevin Williamson was involved in there. Okay, he'll have fun with that. And he does. If anybody can nail, like, making a movie that feels of its time, but also making a movie that I think I could watch 10 years from now, or like Josie could watch when she's old enough, and like she still wouldn't lose anything from not having remembered much of the pandemic stuff.
Right.
Williamson can write.
It's funny too. Like, there's even stuff I forgot. Like, because your brain doesn't. It remembers certain
spraying
things
vegetables and stuff, and
wiping down all your groceries and stuff.
Yep. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. This movie does a great job of capturing the feeling of going into the grocery store for the first time.
Very good job.
Because I'm like, oh.
And it's just as tense a section as the rest of the movie.
Yes. Here's what's funny. Just real quick. Sorry. I interrupted you, but.
No, you're good.
Real quick about. I thought we were going to get bombarded with pandemic movies, and we really haven't gotten a ton of them.
I just think people are.
I think people ignore. But I still like. Sometimes I'm sitting there and like you'll be watching like network TV shows and they don't even mention it. I'm like, hey, we could mention there was a pandemic.
Sometimes they do, and then sometimes like they make it an actual part of the plot.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's never been like a middle ground.
No.
It's like I don't want to spend like 10 weeks of a show I like watching them live through the pandemic. Like,
right.
But if you want to do a couple episodes in a row of like this is during the pandemic, cool. That's
or
fine.
Like maybe like they go into a bank and they got to put a mask on.
That's fine.
But most of these shows are just like never happened in this universe,
nah.
and it actually makes me feel worse. I'm like, where are they at? Like, what part of the multiverse are they
these
in?
Guys. Anyway.
I got Magnum. I got Jay Hernandez, Magnum PI, running around Hawaii, no mascot at his restaurant. I'm like, hey, buddy, you already live in Hawaii. Why don't you
what the hell? Bullshit.
Anyway, back to the movie.
I was skeptical for a minute. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought the writing was sharp. I love the dialogue. You know, you don't get a ton of like necessarily character development from the characters we have here, but like you get enough to get an idea what their personalities are like and their interrelationships are like, and I think that's really cool. I think the performances are all strong. I think the score is really good, really creepy and cool and subtle. I love the house they shot this in.
Great, isn't it?
Awesome, fantastic, great setting for a slasher movie. I really enjoy it. It was really a lot of fun, and
it's lean too. It's like
180 minutes.
Yeah, like an hour and 18 minutes without credits.
Perfect.
for a slasher movie, absolutely.
Thank you.
You don't get even a lot of the great slasher movies from like the heyday of like the 80s. Like the pacing out of it is horrible.
Terrible.
Like,
this
this flies. Yeah,
it flies. Yeah, the action is just like the chase sequences, and really the movie is almost like a 45-minute chase sequence in a lot of ways. It never lets up once it gets going, and it never gets boring.
Right.
Not once during the chase sequence, and like I said, it is the majority of the movie. Not once did I go, okay, let's move along. I felt constantly unsure of what was going to happen next, who was going to survive, who was going to die, so on and so forth. It was really cool and intense, and the motive was a lot of fun, and I pegged it.
Yeah.
I didn't peg the exact beats of why specifically these people were being targeted, but I knew it would be pandemic related, and I had a feeling of what side it was going to lean on. Does that make sense? But what I love about this is this, and this is probably, who knows, it could be either writer's doing, but this feels like Kevin Williamson to me, as I know his writing more, that like he doesn't let anybody off the hook in this movie, and I love that.
It is like when you sit down and, well, I guess we'll skirt around spoilers here.
I don't want to say
if you are afraid. Yeah, we won't come out and say it, but it is a morally kind of gray area that they start to dive into towards the end, because nobody's really right with what happened here.
Well, and then what I love about that is like everybody would kind of fucked up during the pandemic anyway, on one side or the other. Like it.
Yeah. I
mean, there were certainly right ways to do things and wrong ways to do things. I think that some people would agree, but like,
well, this movie shows you like stuff we did, stuff you do that was like the right thing to do, and then stuff you did that like really did not matter.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
like sanitizing your, like wiping down your fruit.
It does a good job of not of skewering everybody, humanity basically.
Right.
And it was fun. Yeah.
But but what you're going along with, I wanted to jump on there a little bit. I'm trying to phrase this without spoiling too much.
It's tricky,
here.
Right?
There's Kevin Williamson he's a student of those old slasher movies, those 80s slashers movies. And we talk about it all the time when we watch those, is there's a strict kind of conservative morality to them. In that you don't drink, you don't do drugs. He lampoons it in Scream.
Yes.
But it's there in those early movies. Like, it's there.
Absolutely.
You do those things, and you put yourself at a higher risk of dying.
Absolutely. Yep.
This movie plays with that in a very, like, 36 minutes of the movie. I'm like, hey, is the pandemic going to play a role in this? And then it does. Yeah. And I went, oh, this is really clever. This is really funny, really clever. And like I said, it toys around with that kind of... because we do have some moralizers out there these days.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of people throw stones in glass houses, much like certain characters in these movies, because the person that they are avenging... Boy, I am really skirting it. He wasn't exactly in the right either. Like, he was there too.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important to remember some of this takes place in a basement where this thing went down, because in a lot of ways, people are going to be people. They're going to socialize. They're going to, especially teenagers. They're going to drink.
I was just gonna say, and one thing that I heard a lot of people saying like, wow, they made this lead character very unsympathetic, and I'm like, she's playing like a 19-year-old, like 20-year-old kid, like.
It's the same idea as those 19. Well, I guess the final girls usually did not partake in the drinking and the drugs.
But we're past that.
Yes.
But
she was, like, I'm with you. She's 19, 20 years old. She's going to college. Like, these kids, they're going to do these things. They're going to do these things. And unless you present them with a safe option, what they're going to do is go into a basement and do these things where it's much less safe.
Yep.
So I thought it was very...
Doesn't make it okay, but...
I thought it was clever, and it kind of took me by surprise a little bit.
Yeah. I didn't expect that 100% from the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I do want to say, we talked about the moral. The last thing I wanted to mention, too, and we talked about a little bit in the beginning, is it does feel like a Kevin Williamson written movie. I saw some people say it feels more like a John Hyams. I read a couple of reviews that said it feels more John Hyams, and I listened to somebody today. It's like, oh, it feels like Kevin Williamson. I think it's a nice mix of those two.
The writing feels Kevin Williamson to me. The direction and the look and the style is Hyams, though.
Yes.
Like, I haven't seen a ton of his stuff, but I've seen enough to
very much.
Yeah.
If you've seen a season of Black Summer, you've seen that's pretty much, and now this too. That's pretty much how he does.
It's a good blend, though. You're right.
It is. It's a nice mix, and I don't think he's done a lot of TV work recently, Williamson.
Yes. He was very involved in all the Vampire Diaries stuff for a long time.
Vampire Diaries, that was what I watched. I haven't seen a ton. So he's credited a writer as Scream for, but correct me if I'm wrong. That was more
characters based on characters. Yeah.
So this might be his first feature-length film since Cursed.
Yeah, I think so.
Because most of the stuff he's done is Vampire Diaries, Stalker, The Following, Tell Me a Story. I've only seen Vampire. I liked the first couple seasons of Vampire Diaries, actually.
Yeah.
But even that was he kind of got it off the ground. He was kind of like the showrunner.
The first season of Following is really good.
That I think I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. So. Everything after it gets ridiculous. But the funny thing is the first season of Following is is just his Scream 3 script retooled.
That's right.
That's all it is. That was the idea.
So
you took the concept and
I don't think he's had a great, because even Cursed is not Wes at his peak. I don't think he's had a great mix, like a great. I think this is a nice balance, director and writer. I think they're
Yeah, I agree. I think it really works. If for some reasons, and I hope it doesn't happen, because I enjoyed Scream 5 and I'm enjoying what I see from 6. If for some reason Radio Silence didn't come back for another Scream movie, Hyams might not be the worst person in the world. You'd get a different vibe from it and a different,
For sure.
So,
anything else you've been watching? Anything else to say about Sick before we move on?
No, I enjoyed it.
Anything else you've been watching you want to
I watched Fresh on Hulu.
Oh, yeah, the Hulu movie, yes.
I enjoyed Fresh. Sebastian Stan is a gem in that movie.
He's really good.
He's wonderful.
I think he kind of... Because I've heard some people, I really liked that movie.
Yeah.
And I talked a little bit about it on the honor roll, and I really liked it. I think a lot of it might have been Stan's performance.
He's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like both.
Both leads?
Yeah.
They have to do a lot of heavy lifting.
A lot. I do think the end, the last, like the finale, the climax of the movie is probably way too busy, but there's too many elements being thrown at you. But overall, I enjoyed it. And then I watched Nope. Finally saw Nope.
You saw Nope and you saw Barbarian, too.
And Barbarian, yeah. Barbarian.
So
Barbarian was sweet.
What did you think of those two movies?
Barbarian's great. Nothing lives up to the first 40 minutes, though.
That's fair.
Barbarian's great, and I had a ton of fun all the way throughout. But the first 40 minutes or so is so tension filled and so good that nothing that comes after could ever live up to what you're building up in your mind.
It's clever too because it uses your expectations with old school horror movies to kind of throw you in some ways, and using your expectations of human beings in general.
And it uses your expectations of the performers and their past work
and the city they're in.
Yes.
Yeah. So it plays with that a lot.
I don't want to say too much because I bet a lot of people haven't seen it yet, but once there's a very jarring shift partway through the movie. Once the shift happens, I'm still into it, but I'm not as into it.
Right.
I still enjoyed it, but overall I was like, okay, this is fun. Nope, I like Nope quite a bit. Another one where I think for me it's I'd have to rewatch Us because I have only seen it once. I think this might be for me I like all three movies.
Yeah.
I think it's the weakest for me of the three.
Okay.
But I had to rewatch Us to say for sure. Get Out is still, I think, that's like.
Yeah, I've got Nope 2, and then I've got Us 3.
And that could be where I wind up.
Yeah.
Nope is very good.
I do want to say I saw Nope in the theater, and I think I thought about this a little bit too. I think it benefited a lot.
Sure.
Like this is one of the movies that benefited a lot from a theatrical experience.
I believe that. Yeah, Nope is very good. I did enjoy it. Something missing there for me. I don't know what it was. There was something that I can't even put my finger on it. I just felt a little bit hollow at the end of it. I was like, nothing.
Right.
I don't know what it was. I can't. Sometimes you watch a movie and you just go, God, there's just. What was that I needed from that I didn't quite get? But I mean, it's phenomenally well made, and some really cool, tense, really, really awesome, tense sequences with Jean Jacket. But and the Gordy stuff is insane.
I remember Joe texted me. He's like, I could not. He was watching Nope at home. He's like, I could not get into it. I had to shut it off. And I go, Joe, get to the Gordy part. And I go, you'll know what I'm talking about when you get to that moment. And then he watched it. Like, he texted me after he got off a flight. He watched the rest of it on a flight. He's like, you're right. He's like, the Gordy part.
The Gordy stuff is insane.
Yeah.
That's based on a true.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Loosely. But yeah, terrifying stuff.
And the story the way he tells the story too, Stephen Yeun.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's crushing it.
Yeah. He's so good.
Yes.
He's so good. I was a little bummed when his character is not a part of the story anymore.
That's fair.
Because he's so good.
Yeah.
Like, you just want more of him. I mean, it makes total sense.
Keke Palmer is terrific in that movie, too.
She's wonderful. She's so obnoxious. But, like, in the best way.
Right.
Like that, like, I love her in that movie. Yeah. Everybody's great. Wincott, come on.
He's really funny in that movie.
He just wants to die. It's so sweet.
Excellent.
Yeah, anyway.
So a couple things I want to talk about real quick.
Yes.
And they will be very quick. I watched The Menu, and this was a movie.
How was that?
Playing catch up. I would classify this more as a dark comedy.
Yeah,
than a horror movie.
It's a horror movie. Yeah. From what I've heard,
performances phenomenal across the board. Nicholas Hoult in this.
I've heard he's amazing.
Oh my God, is he good in this movie? Ray Fiennes also.
It's Ray Fiennes. It's Ray Fiennes.
If Ray Fiennes was bad, then I would make a remark on it because that's noteworthy. But he's never bad in anything. So performances across the board. I think how you feel. I liked this movie. I think how you feel on this depends on your opinion of the last 30 minutes of this movie.
Okay.
Because Nick, fellow Midwest Podcast Network member, was on our Discord talking about how much he loved. I was reading how much he loved the last 30 minutes, and I know a lot of people did. I did not like the last 30 minutes of this movie. The humor stopped working for me. I thought it got too cute. Thought it got too precious. There's some text-based jokes in it where I kind of rolled my eyes. There's stuff involving a burger that I kind of found obvious and condescending in a way. It all depends on, but I think but a lot of that is subjective because it's humor. So it was it was humor that didn't work for me. But
it clearly worked for other people. So.
It clearly worked for other people. It undercut the tension for me though too, because it was building some tension, and then it all kind of let out. And I went, okay, I know I can see where this is going. It just, I thought it got a little obvious, but I do know, and Nick's not alone. I know some other people really loved it too. So I think it's divisive in the right way, and so, but I did like it. I did like it. It's definitely worth a watch. Yellowjackets. I have been watching the show. Yellowjackets.
Showtime show, right?
I am about halfway through. I will check back in when I'm done with it, which will probably be this weekend because it is right up my alley.
It's sweet, right?
I love this show.
Okay, because I've been wanting to watch it. So
if you have any, so this is like you like Lord of the Flies, right?
It's my favorite book of all time.
This is very Lord of the Flies-esque. It's very Lost-esque. I'm halfway through. I might put it closer in the Lost camp in some ways. And I know you like Lost as well, and I like Lost as well. There's also a little bit of it. There's also a little bit of Is It Now and Then, the old Christina Ricci?
Love that movie.
This is all
Man, you're ringing all my...
And it's got a killer 90s soundtrack. It's got Montel Jordan song. It's got the lead singer, or the person who does the score.
How do you watch this, though?
It's on Showtime. So I will say this.
You got to pay for Showtime, then?
You would have to pay I think it's worth the month. If you can actually find a free trial, binge it in a weekend, I think it's a binge-worthy show. The other thing, too, because I have Showtime, look for this, and if you're someone who is on the fence, Paramount Plus was offering an add-on to Showtime for only like $2 extra a month, with ads. But it's the Paramount Plus with that, so it's like $5 anyway, and then $2 per month.
But I was thinking about getting Paramount Plus for something. I don't remember what it was.
So it's not. But that's the thing. It's not on Paramount Plus. You have to add on Showtime.
Okay.
So, but if so they may still have that deal going. I don't know. That's how I had it, and I thought it would revert back to like more expensive pricing. It has not yet, so I'm going with it.
No one's noticed.
Nobody is. This is one of those things. Like, there's one streaming service I have that I'm 99% sure I'm not being charged for anymore. I think they've forgotten about it.
Don't say it out loud.
Because they threw it in my cell phone package. Like, it was one of those things that came out with a cell phone package, and I still have never seen it charged.
That's sick.
Anyway, but like the soundtrack is full of like 90s alternative. Mazzy Star. The score is done by the lead singer of That Dog, which is kind of like a 90s alternative band, female-led band, similar to like Weezer. Okay. Like that mid-90s Weezer.
Yeah.
So a lot of really cool.
That sounds rad.
Tracy Bottom. A lot of really cool music. It's one of those, like, I'm looking forward to the next song they choose as they go through.
Awesome.
But
season 2 is
coming up in March. That's part of the reason that prompted me to finally get around to watching it.
Oh, it's been on my list for a long time now. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think you would really like it. So that is it. Now we got a few. Let's do this real quick.
Yes.
We have a few minutes left. We had talked about it.
Briefly talk about
Kevin Williamson.
Yes.
Is okay. So this was at. Where was
some
this
sort
at?
of film
Some
festival.
sort of film festival or screening?
No, it was a screening of Friday the 13th Part 3. Larry Zerner was there, and a bunch of other, of course. The great Larry Zerner.
Basically, it came
out.
It is
a screening in 3D, I believe, of Friday the 13th Part 3.
So Brian Fuller. Okay, yeah. Here's
was
the bloody.
In attendance.
This is the Bloody Disgusting article. Brian Fuller provided an exciting update on the project, announcing that Kevin Williamson will be writing an episode. Additionally, and I think this is very interesting as well. I know you have a theory about it.
I do.
Additionally, original Final Girl Adrienne King will have a recurring role.
Yes.
They said they start writing in 2 weeks. Now it's probably a week. But your thoughts on all of this?
I love the start writing in 2 weeks thing. Like, why don't you just start writing now? You know what I mean? Like,
do you think
maybe
maybe
have a deadline for write? Like, just write.
Do you think maybe there's a payment? I would imagine they get paid.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So
I'm
okay.
Sure. I'm just joking. But.
What is? I want to know what your theory is, because you said you had a theory on Adrienne King.
Yes, I do.
Involved.
Because I was like racking my brain about this, and I'm like, is it just gonna be like a gratuitous throw Adrienne King in there because she's like such an important part of the franchise? But they said recurring role, and I go, okay, she's playing a character here. What is she doing? And the more I thought about it, the more I went, okay, this show has been described a few ways, a little confusingly in a few ways, but it's mostly, it seems like it's going to follow events that lead into the original Friday the 13th, and I guess even post.
Right.
It sounds like. I think that Adrienne King is playing an adult Alice.
You do?
Now, you might go, whoa, but Alice died in Friday the 13th Part 2. What are you talking about? She's dead. And to that I say, I think there will be a younger actress playing Alice, and I think Adrienne King is going to be part of modern time setting. I think they're going to change up the timeline here in terms that Alice is the survivor of the original Mrs. Voorhees killings. She's either narrating the story, essentially, or talking to a therapist or something, telling somebody the story of what happened to Pamela Voorhees.
Yeah.
And then I think the first season is going to end with her returning to Crystal Lake to face her demons. And then we hint at Jason being there.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay.
So I think they're essentially changing the timeline of Alice doesn't go back to Crystal Lake, like, what is it, a month or two after.
Right.
I think she goes back years later. And that's when Jason shows up like, I'm going to get you.
That's what he says, too.
Yes.
He says, I'm going to get you.
I'm going to get you.
Okay, I like that. I
or killings start again in Crystal Lake because Jason's back and she goes back to...
I kind of thought it was just going to be a fun cameo, but you're right. The recurring role says something, and Adrienne King said something, too. Like, they made sure to announce that, too. It's not like a fun cameo that came together last minute.
They
seem to have this in mind. They haven't even started writing it yet, apparently, and they have her in mind for something. So she's involved in the pitch, I would assume.
I would think.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my thought.
I'm going along with that. Any thoughts on the Kevin Williamson? Do you think this is going to be like a special episode? You think he's just ready? You think this is just throw your name on it? Kevin Williamson still has a very distinct style.
He's a huge Pamela Voorhees fan.
Yes.
And Brian Fuller is a huge Pamela Voorhees fan.
Right.
Kevin Williamson's a gay man, yes.
Yeah.
I believe Brian Fuller is as well.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes. So, hey.
Yeah.
There's a connection between gay men and Pamela Voorhees.
Yeah.
What that is, I don't know.
No.
But I appreciate it, and I like it. And so I think the two maybe just bonded over their mutual love of Pamela Voorhees.
And he said, hey, you want to come?
Do you want to write an episode? Do you want to write some Pamela? And he's like, yes. I basically did in Scream 2, but I'll do it again.
So do you think his episode, what do you think his episode going to be? Do you think it's going to be more of a standalone episode, or do you think it's going to just...
I think it'll just be an episode.
I do too.
But I think it'll be an episode. I don't think Kevin Williamson never seemed to be, like, for a guy who, like, was the writer, like, TV and movies for, like, half a decade of, like, just consistent hit after hit.
Right.
He never seems to be somebody who has like a big ego about themselves.
I think he's really great. I like Kevin Williamson a lot.
He's very under the radar. He does his own thing. He's very humble. He's always complimentary to everybody.
Yes.
Even when he has had negative experiences, like on Scream 3 and stuff, he's never been outright like dickish about it, or like he's said like I left because I wasn't happy.
Right.
You know, like that. But he's always been. He doesn't seem to me the type that would feel the need to be like, this needs to be a Kevin Williamson episode. You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's that Tarantino episode of. Well, that's just Tarantino has such an overwhelming style too. Like, there's that Tarantino episode of CSI that I'm thinking of too. That is very. You're like, oh, this is a Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
I think Williamson can blend in to whatever they're doing.
I think he's more adaptable than certainly a Tarantino would be. But
right,
I think he's I think he's phenomenally talented. I think that I'm happy to see Kevin popping back up again. I like the guy. I think he's so talented.
Yeah,
you know, and I mean he's.
And I like the way he's done worked on the recent Scream movies, which is kind of like, I mean, he's kind of a stand-in for Wes in a lot of ways too. He's kind of like he's the overseer, and so like they've seemed to have bounced stuff off of him before. Yeah,
in the same way, I think you need some of those. You need like a Courtney Cox on set. I think it's important to have somebody
a connection to. It's kind of like the Carpenter thing with the new Halloween.
Yeah,
it's a nod to fans and also to the creators and the originals to bring those people back.
I think it's important. Yeah, I really do. I think that's if you're going to do the Lego sequel thing, I think having somebody behind the scenes that was involved in the whatever you're sequelizing, I think that's important too. So yeah,
very cool.
Yes.
All right, that's all I wanted to talk about today.
Excellent.
Horror Movie Yearbook at gmail.com. Horror Movie Yearbook on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, at HM Yearbook on the Twitter. That's it, right? That's all the social media we're on?
Yes. Let us know who your favorite ghost face is and why it's Roman Bridger.
Unless you have anything for next time. You want to just see what happens in the next 2 weeks? Unless you're like burning on something?
No, let's see what happens.
I kind of like these episodes too.
They're fun.
Yeah, it's
very enjoyable just bullshitting. I think we got another bullshit episode in us. Something will pop up.
Yeah,
and then we can maybe pick
we'll try to make it different. We won't just be Scream because we're probably going to talk about Scream here in a month or two.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna. Yeah, I don't think you'll hear from us regarding Scream in any length until the movie comes out. At this point, I don't know that I'm gonna watch any more stuff.
We may do like.
I think I'm good.
I remember last year we did one. We might do. I think we might do one final segment where we go. All right, here's the killer. Here's who survives. Here
we could do a Tiny Terror. I think.
Yeah. Right before the movie comes out?
Yes, and just to last minute.
Lay our bets.
Here it is, and then, yeah. But we'd hate for you guys to think we are the Scream podcast.
Right.
But you know what? We like Scream, so.
Excellent.
Whatever.
Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next time.